This is part 2 in my series debunking or analyzing or reviewing autism diets and autism protocols. And in this episode, we're going to talk about the GAPS diet. So could it be that one of the most popular diets in the autism community that's created to actually help children overcome symptoms will work as an exacerbation, an enhancer of autism symptoms? Well, actually, yes. That's the case in a lot of children, and I'm going to break down why, who should not be going on a GAPS diet, and why is the GAPS diet probably great for the gut, not so great for behavior and mood in autistic children and in ADHD or hyperactive children. So let's start with the main red flags. Who should not be going on a GAPS diet? Well, if you have a child that's hyperactive, if you have a child that's anxious, aggressive, agitated, angry, has anxiety, mood swings, picky eating, and hyperactivity, the GAPS diet is most likely not for you. In fact, I've seen more cases on the vegan diet and the GAPS diet of children that get worse on this diet than children that improve on this diet. I'm going to talk a little bit about why that might be. Because logically, a diet that's nutrient dense, that is full of fermented foods, that heal the gut, feed the microbiome, and is supposed to heal the gut inflammation and certain infections in the gut, that should be a good thing, right? And from a gut perspective, it might be, but what we know now from science and from the work of Dr. Mensa, Dr. Walsh, the Pfeiffer Institute, and Dr. Barenzi is that what actually is great for the gut is not often great for the brain when it comes to autism and hyperactivity and anxiety and ADHD. So why is that? The reason is that even though this diet is healthy from an objective perspective, it is also high in oxalates. It's high in glutamates. Glutamates, they are excitatory. It's an excitotoxin. And it actually is something that can cause more agitation and anger and aggression and anxiety and mood swings. And so glutamates is normally something we want to avoid in the autism community or population in general, but it's very high in glutamate, the GAPS diet. It's also high in amines, and histamine is an amine. And amines can cause the same things, like histamine can cause aggression, hyperactivity, lack of focus and aggression, mood swings, depression, those kind of things. Also, of course, seasonal allergies, eczema, and all of these things that many of the autistic children also struggle with. So the GAPS diet is high in amines, oxalates, glutamates, salicylates, and it's likely high in FODMAPs as well. So the FODMAPs are fermentable saccharides and polyols. So all of these things put together creates a cocktail of components that all exacerbate the symptoms that we're trying to get rid of as moms when we have a child that doesn't sleep at night, a child that's eloping, a child we can't take to the supermarket because the child is screaming and having tantrums, a child that is completely hyperactive and therefore cannot learn and acquire social skills and be part of the family, a child that cries a lot, gets very agitated and obsessed and rigid about things, and very anxious. So with that in mind, this is why we got to be so cautious with all these exclusion diets, because the human body is too complex for that. The autism body and the way that it has become imbalanced is way too complicated to ever have a broad spectrum benefit from any diet that is excluding or focusing on certain food groups. So what do you do instead? Well, that's a really good question. Because the children's needs change all the time, change every week, change every month, change with age, change depending on stress levels or infections or whatever's going on, environment, The only way to find the right diet for your child is to understand your child's biotype, understand your child's body's feedback, so that you can constantly adjust diet, lifestyle, nutrients, nutrition, supplements according to the feedback that you're getting, because you know your child that well. That requires a lot of self-knowledge. It requires that you know your body really well, that you know yourself really well, that you know that when you have a symptom, you know why it happens, you know what to eat to adjust it, you know what lifestyle adjustments you need to make to adjust it, or supplementation that you need to implement to adjust this. So that's always been my approach. Moms need to become an expert in interpreting symptoms and dealing with symptoms in her own body for her to be an expert in treating and helping her child. So that's what I've been doing. That's why my son no longer has tantrums, aggression, hyperactivity, eloping, nonverbal autism, scripting, echolalia, sleepless nights, and just inability to learn, but lives a completely normal, neurotypical life, because I learned how to do this for him and for myself. So if you ever want to talk, if you want to learn more about this, go to barefootautismwarriors.com. The link is below this video, and download one of my free guides, or get in contact so that we can get on a call and talk about it. Until next time, take care, eat mentally healthy, okay? See you soon.